Welcome to the Everyday Magic Podcast. I'm Anya Rock.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Trivena.
We've been best friends for 25 years, united by the belief that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find the magic. Join us every week as we dive into our most intimate conversations about sex, money, intuition, and building our company, Sofanya, a merger of our names and the best of us. Rolling orgasms.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Just like a lot of...
What do you think made it happen like that you gave so much anticipation, or there's so much good connection, and there's so much like attentiveness?
I think the anticipation was big and connection. So like as opposed to London,
right,
where I was like, I had sex with a stranger.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's, or what was it? French fry guy.
When you say, he's like, I'm going to McDonald's. And then you sent a picture. She's, in your case, Anya literally text me from London and is like,
I'm like, this guy wants to bring me French fries.
No, he didn't say that. She said, what are you doing tonight? And he said something like, I'm going to McDonald's. And she sent me the picture. And I was like, maybe, are you sure you don't want some French fries?
Yeah. And then I did a video vibe check with him and he answered in the shower so that I would see exactly what I was working with.
If I looked like him, I would too.
I was like, okay.
Lead with your strengths. French fries and in the shower. That's what that guy had going on.
Yeah. He was definitely.
And this guy's a lot more than that going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's worth the extra time.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't feel like, I feel like I know him, and I was almost more nervous.
Right. Because you knew him.
To be like, what if we don't have, what if we have all this other connection and we don't have chemistry in the bedroom?
Because I haven't slept with this guy. I'm completely wondering that.
Right.
We got through the angel thing.
Yeah.
We got through
I was like, I mean, we had, decent kissing chemistry, but to be in rolling orgasm land. And I feel like my access to that orgasm is so much a part of the work I've done.
1,000%.
He was a bit like,
what happened, goddess?
He was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Was it like, I've never seen a woman orgasm this deeply, this consistently, this fully, for this long?
Yeah. He was just like, whatever is happening, I'm so happy to be on the ride.
Welcome to my world. And it's only getting bigger.
Yes. It's very...
Almost, I can remember layers of men being like, I remember 20 years ago in Hawaii, one of my boyfriends being, what's happening with your vagina? And I'm like, because I just had 12 orgasms. And he's like, yeah, what is that? And I'm like, that's a woman who knows her body. And he's like, unheard of, unseen. And I'm like, welcome to my world.
Yeah, well, I'm in your world now.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fun.
Okay, so from here, I think it's a great opportunity to talk about the sacred ritual of sex and then talk about other layers of sacred ritual.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you make sex into a sacred ritual for your own pleasure and expression, that's when you can really access, I think, these deeper layers, these longer journeys.
Yeah. And it was clear that my experience was also an invitation to him to have a different kind of experience. Like he was having full body orgasm. And I think we really intentionally both set out to be like, this isn't about a performance. This isn't about getting to an end.
Right.
Which is also a new paradigm. And so we were both available to like whatever experience we have.
So that's what turns hooking up or sex into sacred ritual, if you ask me, is intentions. I always say intimacy is making agreements, keeping them, and navigating, changing them. That's it. That's all intimacy ever is. And the more you imbue that with intentions for mutual fulfillment, the more sacred ritual it becomes. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Yeah. And I feel that for me, I know that I love to have I actually like to ask a lover, like, what is your intimacy you say intimacy recipe. I like intimacy philosophy. And then I also am like, if you were totally nourished, what would it look like to you? And what they describe to me and what I describe back is often what I think of as the sacred ritual of sex, meaning that it's held with intentionality and it's done for nourishment. And for me, it's always like, I like to wake up into intimacy, whether that's lovemaking, eye gazing, cuddling. I want to wake up into intimacy. I want to move in and out of that a few times in a day. And I want to have at least twice a week where we have 5-hour journeys, mostly of sex, if not naked and moving in and out of sex. So to me, that's what the sacred ritual of sex is, that kind of quantity and quality. Do you have a sense of that for yourself?
Yeah, I think I similarly, like, if I had a partner that I was sharing space with or could be in, have someone stay the night, like to wake up in that intimacy is so divine to me. To be in that kind of connection and I love the longer journey. And I love the idea that we can make even the shorter journey sacred.
Oh my goodness. I had a boyfriend where we set a 9-minute alarm. We were going out. We had 10 minutes to kill. What should we do for 10 minutes? It's like tidy the kitchen. I'm like, let's get naked. And literally 9 minutes, it was astounding how much could happen. And you know what the beautiful part of it was? Is we didn't have a goal. We were just like, let's just start making out and let the energy take us where it went. And I always thought it would just be making out. But all of a sudden, 9 minutes has gone by and he's already been inside of me. And I'm like, how did that happen in 9 minutes? But consistently, every time we did it, we'd get that far. But just because we surrendered to the energy without agenda.
It's not rushed, it's allowing.
Say that again.
Yeah, it's not rushed, it's allowing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is a very different energy.
Yes. And it's a different energy that you are receiving rather than directing.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you are directing sexual energy and you're coming in with performance, and how often have you heard, I don't have time for sex. I don't have energy for sex. And I'm like, wait a minute. When I don't have time and energy, that's when I go to sex for nourishment because it brings an energy force.
Hence my sexy chill.
Say that again.
Like, someone who's tired is like, maybe I just need to chill tonight. And I'm like, yeah, I need to chill too. Sexy chill.
Yes.
Like, let's get naked and lie around and gaze into each other's eyes and do nothing. Like the permission to do nothing, to just be in each other's energy and company.
Yes.
Fall asleep, feed each other food, drink, whatever. Like just to be loving and generous with each other's energy is beautiful.
And it's generative, as in it doesn't take energy, it gives energy.
Right.
Like I'm exhausted and I can't do anything else tonight, so I could just lie by myself and zone out on Netflix, or I could whatever, right? Like I just don't want anyone to need anything from me. I have nothing more to give. But imagine two people come together and they just do that naked and they don't have an agenda, and all of a sudden there's some kissing, and often it turns into energy giving love making rather than energy taking love making. All of a sudden, the two beings that come together create a third energy source that they both get to be activated by and nourished by. So it's like, two people coming together with that masculine, feminine energy creates an actual baby. Like that's how much of a third energy can be created, right? And then you use that energy instead for the embodiment of aliveness, like life force. It's literally life force energy, right, that creates life. And it can create life for you to have a nourishing, rejuvenating evening rather than a depleted, passed out on the couch evening. So I feel like that's the difference between any sort of activity and sacred ritual is it depleting or is it giving? Is the thing that wants to happen happening in a way that brings pleasure and connection, or is it just ticking off a box and getting it done, right? Is the orgasm happening versus the journey with maybe not even an orgasm? Well,
and the orgasm being not the destination, like for me, the orgasm always happened at the end, as in I'm over the waterfall, the climax has happened. But now I experience the orgasm as the entryway.
Say more about this.
Into this energy that just can move through my body for long periods of time.
So just to break this down, you're back it up.
Yes. So orgasm for many people as the climax, right? The end, going over the waterfall instead of, right? It's sort of like, okay, I've hit the peak and now I'm finished.
And then once you have that orgasm, you don't want to have sex anymore.
Right. And in the past, I was so sensitive that I didn't want to be touched after, right? It was kind of like a withdrawing after I would hit climax.
Right. And now what happens?
And now I experience orgasm as an energy that feels like a wave that comes through my body, and I can play with that wave. It can build an intensity and go back down, build an intensity and go back down. And I can just ride that wave for 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
And do you feel like you're orgasming the entire 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, but not in a way where there's any peak that I have to then retreat from.
Right. And do you think that's edging, what people call edging?
Maybe.
Right. So for me, edging, I've always done this. And then I've introduced some lovers to it and they're like, oh, you're edging, which means like coming close to orgasm and stopping and backing away to not have it peak and explode. But the other way is that I can have an actual orgasm. So like it's happening, but I cannot take it all the way to a 10. I can orgasm as like a 6 or a 7. And then that 3 remains and we just relax and we, start kissing and not really keep going for it is one way to do it. And like let that 3 build back to a 9 or 10. The other way that can be done for me is go all the way to a 10 and really have a fully explosive orgasm. And the most important thing is right after that, keep going just as hard, just as deep and just as hard, because I can do a 10 and a 10 and a 10 and a 10. But if a 10 happens and we stop, it goes to 0.
So I can do a 10 and then especially if I have a clitoral orgasm or if that's what's being stimulated, I can't keep going at that 10, but I can go a 10 in a different area. So
interesting.
Then do the 10 like more cervical orgasm, right? I can go into other. Right. That's the doorway that can then open to other 8, 9, 10s.
Well, here's some valuable information for this inquiry and exploration.
Right.
So the clitoral orgasm and the G-spot orgasm, which is, that spot just a few inches inside the vagina, which we promised we were going to use that word in this episode.
There it
is. Mic drop finally.
Yeah.
Those 2 areas have all of these erogenous zones have erectile tissue, meaning they get hard and firm, hard and stand up. And after you orgasm clitorally or from the G-spot, it can't get erectile again, right? And until time passes. The A-spot, which is way deep into the cervix, and there's 2 of them at the front and at the back, and you can access the one at the back if they enter you from behind. So like there's 2 areas deep inside, and they do not go flaccid after orgasm. So that's why if I am having a cervical orgasm, like all the way deep inside and I have a 10, keep going. Right? Keep going and do another 10 and do another 10 and do another 10 until I tell you to stop, which might be 12 or 15 in there. But I actually don't really do orgasms otherwise, because once I found that, which was like about 15 years ago, nothing else is as good. So I'm always, I really do enjoy that. Unless it's like a whole different exploration. But you can, do a clitoral orgasm and be, kind of done with that area, then move to another area and then go all the way to the A spot and keep going. Okay. So back to this sacred ritual part of it. When you're doing hookups and one night stands where you don't care about the person, and so that's not really sacred ritual, that's more so scratching an itch or going for the orgasm as a goal, and you're not really caring about the journey or connecting in the journey, and you're kind of lacking that deeper intimacy, you are only releasing the types of chemicals in your brain that are about the reward and drive system, and you're missing these other chemicals that get released like oxytocin and serotonin. And interestingly, those last 2 are the ones that are anti-aging, that balance your hormones, that feed your mitochondria, that literally regulate your nervous system. So whenever you're just doing the dopamine hits of disconnected, uncaring sex, you're basically really driving the part of your brain that wants this sort of addictive hit, which takes a big toll on your actual health. But when you have the same amount of quantity and of sex, but you add in the quality of intimacy, of real caring and real connection and that eye gazing and that your heart engaged, you flood your system with these other neurotransmitters that literally prolong your life. Like you literally live more years if you do that. And the blue zones around the world, which are the parts of the world where people have the best health and live the longest, they all have rich social connections because they're right. So for them, going to the store and getting milk, says the vegan, actually becomes a ritual of knowing the shop owner and seeing neighbors along the way and buying the milk because they greatly care about the family they're bringing it back to.
Are you saying I'm not getting the same ritual out of my DoorDash delivery?
I am actually saying that.
Not as fulfilling.
I am actually saying that, but you could be filling that time that you're not at the store hanging out with your daughter. Right. So how many minutes of the day are you letting yourself be flooded by caring and love and connection and meaning versus checking something off the list? And the amount that you're actually in the heart space of enjoying and experiencing, that is literally creating health for all your physical systems. And what I feel is that sacred ritual takes the mundane and the task done thoughtlessly, all the way including sex and orgasm, and brings it into meaning and caring and heart fulfillment, changing it from a dopamine hit to mind, body, soul nourishment, prolonging your life.
Right.
Thank you for allowing me that rant.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
I believe the same.
Yeah. And independently, we never talked about this, but we discovered sacred ritual. Like we both, more than anyone I know in my entire life, over my whole life, you honor sacred ritual as much as I do. I'm sure other people might, maybe, but I don't know them. But you've always been doing it and I've always been doing it. And I'd love to know other ways that you create sacred ritual for yourself.
Besides my sacred sex.
I would say, I mean, it's probably not going to be as interesting.
Right. I know. I'm like, wow.
Where do we go from here?
I mean, my morning sacred ritual is it's one of the foundations of my life. Yeah. Of everything it really was the starting place for all of the change I've made in my life, was to start a sacred ritual. Yeah. Which started more as a morning routine.
Right.
Wake up early, the 5 a.m. club, a little bit more. I don't know if you've read Robin Sharma did something about the 5 a.m. club. And I remember just being like, oh my God, I'll never do that. And then variety of different circumstances with life and kids and running a business. And I was in a challenge and I started to wake up early and create this time. And it really changed my life.
So just to jump in, I got guided by my guides and angels when I was living in Hawaii and was just recovering from a back surgery. And my marriage at the time was completely crazy on the rocks. My brother had just died. I had just miscarried. It was a really crazy time. And I begged for what to do to support me. My nervous system was shot. And the angel said, get up at 5 a.m. I never read it anywhere. I didn't know anyone that did it except for morning surfers. And I just got up at 5 a.m. and it literally changed my life. Within a few months, I had left that marriage. My back was healing. I was through the grief with my brother. All of those things changed by getting up at 5 a.m. It was astounding. I didn't know that it was a thing.
What did you do at 5 a.m?
So I would get up and I lived on the ocean in Hawaii. So I'd go sit out front and I'd watch the sunrise over the ocean. It's crazy that I lived in that same building for 8 years and didn't do that. And I did it every sunset. Everyone goes and watches sunset in Hawaii on the coast when you live there and you see all your neighbors looking at the sun. Ritual. Yeah, it's beautiful ritual. So I got up and I'd watch the sunrise. And I'd sit with myself, and then I started bringing my journal out, and then I started lighting a candle, and it just started adding in, and that remains to this day. I get up now at 5 a.m., go to my couch, light candles, and pull out my journal, and my dog Leela comes and lies with me, and I watch the sunrise over the Hollywood Hills now. 15 years later, I'm still doing it. Yeah. So anyways, just wanted to jump in that 5 a.m. thing. There's something about the energy that's so clean and clear there, and I could hear myself.
In so many faiths and religions and spiritual practices, let's say, there is something magical that happens in that time. It's a liminal space between night and day.
Absolutely.
It happens at 5 a.m. And practically, for those of us with small humans who often need to be places, I was in a space, and, the women I work with are in a space of I was waking up and reacting and responding to everyone else's needs. I was waking up and keeping up with everything, actually intentionally creating time and space for me to be with my own energy first was what changed profoundly. And then that rippled out into everything else. So I start with a meditation, light a candle, meditate, pull a card, journal, have my cacao, microdose. I have a whole little ritual of my morning, and then I wake my kids up.
I have to completely agree. So I would get up and do that. My meditation was staring at the sun. Ideas and thoughts and downloads would come to me. I would ask questions to my heart and then channel the answer through my hand. And then what I would do is, because I was finishing my PhD and on top of it, I had to run companies and all these things, I would start to write my dissertation, and I would write for 2 or 3 hours. So from 5 until 9, 4 hours were mine. And then I would go and work with my students, and then my ex would get up and I'd go and meet the people from that. And I remember seeing someone, they're like, how are you doing? And I'm like, my life has changed because I take care of all of my needs and my nourishment and my expression and everything that matters to me. And then I go into the world. So I said the exact same words you're saying. So it's really cool that we both discovered that. Yeah. And to your point, indigenous cultures and many religions honor the sunrise as a really important sacred time.
And many people grab their phone first and scroll.
Totally.
And so they are consuming and they're letting someone else's energy and direction, someone's email, a bill that came in unexpectedly, news of the constant tragedy of the world, be the first thing that dictates their energy for the day. And then they're like, I don't know why I'm so anxious and panicked and I feel all this, it's overwhelm, because I am literally first thing in the morning when my nervous system is to me, I'm most sensitive and most agile, I think, in that time. Like I have the most downloads, I have the most sensitivity right in that early part of the morning. And so if I'm consuming all of that, instead of creating that energy of what's my intention for today, what am I tuning in, whether you're tuning into intuition or like you said, asking a heart question and channeling through your hand, it's space and time to be with your energy to create before you consume is such a game changer. And those little phones that we all love, right? Or we pull out the laptop or whatever it is like, oh, I'm going to check email before I've even brushed my teeth. And I am not saying I've never done it. It's like, for me too, it's such a habit to be disciplined and to be devotional, right? Enough. I try to change discipline to devotion.
I've done that for a long time.
Devoted enough to what I desire most over what's right there in front of me and easy and simple and just convenient.
So interesting you say this, because people are like, you're so disciplined. How do you, because I literally on paper do so much, right? And I'm like, there's no discipline in my life. I have no ability to be disciplined, because the way that I experience the word discipline is a force. There's a forceness to it. I can't do that. I don't work that way. What I am is I create a rhythm that inspires me towards devotion. Like what I do is so nourishing that I want to do it again. And when people are like, I'm going to get back into yoga, I'm going to go every day. I'm like, you know what? Forget that. In your next 2 weeks, plan to go once. Because once you go, it's going to feel so good. You're going to want to go again. And then, so the desire leads the devotion rather than control and force leads the discipline, which goes against the grain of your being. I feel like the second one is sacred ritual that gives those nourishing neurotransmitters of pleasure. And pleasure leads to the chemistry in the body that's health and longevity. And force leads to depletion.
Well, and discipline often just ends up another to-do list, another should, right?
Another obligation that feels like
look
duty.
At things, I'm like the 75 hard where I have to there's so much rigidity. There's so many more, that's the last thing we need. It's not to say, like you said, like we can get on paper so much done.
Yes.
But we're choosing the things that are aligned and taking us further because we're intentional rather than just forcing on with the mind what I'm supposed to do, what I think I should do.
I'm reacting to the thing that's the loudest and most jumping to, like commanding our attention. And we get to choose that. I feel like the way that I've set up my whole calendar is that, I love the sacred ritual that on Monday afternoons I do this. And I love the sacred ritual that on Tuesday morning I do that. And I love that every single day I'm up early. And, so there's all of those becomes a nourishment. When I plan anything in my calendars, where in my calendar would that nourish me rather than deplete me? Where does that become a joy and a gift? And constantly looking at that and making sure nothing ends up on my schedule that is depleting.
Right. I do not have that luxury at the moment.
Right.
That is not a reality for the single mother.
How does that show up for you?
It just is a reality. I mean, there's lots of things on my calendar that deplete me and I can choose how I embrace them.
Right. And how do you do that?
I mean, I could say, in fact, I corrected myself. I couldn't make something the other day and I was like, I have to drive my daughter to something and I was like, actually, I get to drive her, right? I get to spend that time. So I can change the energy of what I'm doing and my intention.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to we had a basketball game in Santa Barbara on Sunday on the schedule. My son was dressed, ready to go. We were in the car. I knew he didn't want to go. He knew I didn't want to go. We should go. The team is waiting. We got in the car and I was like, I really don't want to go. And he's like, I don't want to go either, but I think you'll be mad. And we had this whole conversation. I was like, do you want to go to the mall and just go to Dick's?
What's that?
Sporting goods. Like we ended up buying stuff that he needed for school.
Okay.
And that was one way, but I also had to weigh the obligations and consequences of his participation in a team sport and that we had agreed to something. But often things get put on my calendar that I don't have the luxury of deciding in advance. So that feels nourishing on a Sunday afternoon.
And what you just said, I think, is the most important thing, which is that how you hold it turns mundane and turns a task into sacred and connection. Right. Anytime you can turn something that doesn't have connection into connection, anytime you can turn it from I must do to I get to, that's when it changes everything, because everything you're doing, there's a human in front of you. You can turn that into something interesting and connecting, or you can make it transactional.
Right. And I think you can just try to find, again, there's a lot of times when I'm doing things on the calendar of motherhood. And I think it's also just about how can I find a glimmer here? What music can I put on?
That's right.
If I take this 25-minute drive and I'm already exhausted, like what can I do to just make it feel a little bit better? When I get home, I know I'll have a bath tonight instead. And maybe it's my kids eat chicken fingers tonight and I make a bath for myself instead of cooking dinner on top of everything else. So it's these micro moments.
That's huge.
Because I'm not just caring for myself. I'm caring for other humans and their own schedules and desires. And then, but it's how can I just change the micro moments to ritual, to shift.
I think it's looking to where can this be turned into pleasure.
To pleasure, for
sure.
And
connection. Yeah. I think it's both pleasure and connection.
Yeah.
And both of those translate into nourishment. And not just nourishment in the enjoyment level, but literally in the health level.
Yeah.
That's the hugest thing. And so, Goddess, we have built our whole company around sacred ritual meets modern self-care. And I love that it is a weaving of both of our passions about sacred ritual, because what we're doing is we're taking our products, which are around morning, nerve tonic, bedtime sleep tonic, washing our face, having a bath. Bath becomes ritual very often. And so we've figured out that we want to have 5 sacred times of the day that our products and experiences get incorporated into someone's life, because we did this cool market research, meaning that we connected with tons of women that we thought were going to be the people that would want what we have to offer. And it was exciting to find that they do want what we have. And when we asked what's their biggest pain point, what are they struggling with their life? Why should a company like us exist for you? What would we do for you that it makes us worth being? And they all said, I'm overwhelmed. I'm anxious. I don't have time in the day. I want to take care of myself. I don't know how and when. And we really looked at our lives and what's working for us and what's working with hundreds of clients we've worked with. And it's like, how do you incorporate these things into the rhythm of day to day, such that a bath isn't just getting the thing done.
Right.
But your mind isn't outside of the shower. It's actually there with you, and while you're having a multisensory experience. And so we've talked about the morning being a really important time for the reasons we've discussed. It's setting your nervous system for the day. It's having you access intuition and insights and your knowing before someone else hijacks that from you, right? So let's talk about the other times of day that I think bath and shower, evening.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of right before sleep. Because again, if you want to have an early 5 a.m., you want to feel good. I started to notice again years ago when I started that practice of waking up that I was starting the night before. I was like, oh, I want to go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
I want to drink less wine. I want to read a book instead of scrolling. I want to use my LED mask and listen to a meditation. I want to do little things that cue my body to sleep.
Yeah.
And because there are sleep cues, your brain goes, oh, those things add up to it's time to wind down and go to sleep.
Absolutely. And you know that from a mother, being a mother too, because I watched you when your kids were really small have this whole routine that got them wound down, and it worked. And I feel like I had as many people that are very sensitive that also had a lot of young trauma. You really do have insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
And I later found out that a lot of people like me have insomnia. So I had to really work hard on it. And it really mattered how much time I started before needing to go to sleep, started dropping the light, not having stimulus, coffee after 1 or 2 p.m. It goes
do that today.
Yeah, after we just finished our coffee mid-afternoon.
Do you use like the blue light glasses or anything, or any of the...
I've started to, things like this. Yeah. So blue light glasses, when you're looking at electronics, is really great to signal to the body that there isn't a stimulating light source coming in that keeps you awake. So that's one way we can do it. What are some other tips and tricks we know for bedtime?
I mean, you said the light, lower the light.
And have no light on in the room too. Like really put blackout curtains or put on eye mask.
Yep. I do an eye mask, even though it always ends up on another side of the room.
Really?
It's actually just, I think, the ritual again of like, I put my hair bonnet on, my eye mask, sleep machine, progesterone.
Right. All the things.
I've got all my little cues.
Yes.
I love just a meditation right before, so now I've started doing either my face oil right, and an LED mask is nice because it's exactly 10 minutes and I listen to a 10-minute meditation.
Perfect.
And just disconnect from all the ways my mind is going to past or present, or past or future, and just practice being in my body, reviewing the day. Gratitude journal is a big one, a beautiful practice.
I love that. I did the 5-minute journal doing the prompts it has in the morning and the night, and it always changes my life.
Like a reflection of the day. How did I, do something beautiful today?
Yeah.
I think this idea of bathing our bodies and our cells in love in the morning and night, right? Having a ritual, which I definitely learned from you, this idea of just right even before, when I would wake up with this anxiety, probably 6 months, 8 months ago, and I would now just lie in bed and just love on myself and feel the divine energies, my guides, my angels, divine feminine and masculine holding me and bathing me and sort of loving on myself the way I would cuddling a lover, cuddling my children. I give myself that love and then I go into my ritual.
Absolutely.
And so same thing at the end of the day. Like I did great today.
Yes.
I love you.
I say this to you. Yeah, I mean, you really did your best today, I say to myself.
Little love notes to yourself before you, right before I close my eyes, just kind of it's all good. Angels have got it. I've got this. We're doing it.
I'm astounded in this day and age that we don't focus way more of everything on the energy we send our own cells. It is well studied. Many scientists have seen the same thing. You can look under a microscope and see it for yourself, anyone that wants to, that the energy that we send our cells shapes them and forms them, which literally translates into physical beauty and health.
Yeah.
Literally anti-aging, literally neuroprotective, protecting the brain from all the things that happen as you age, Alzheimer's, et cetera.
I mean, is it a coincidence we live in an age of chronic disease?
Because no one's using this very obvious free tool of loving yourself. When people ask, how do you look the age you look? I'm like, self-love. I always say it's self-love. We have all the right things, ingredients and support and everything.
But it's the base.
Well, and I feel like all of our products are all of the building blocks we need, and the sacred rituals that go along with them are the placebo. So every single scientific study of any ingredient, any medicine is looking at what the placebo effect does, which is the belief, along with what the medicine's actually doing. And they try to, say, this is what the medicine's doing without placebo. But when you put them together, they're both stronger. So the sacred ritual is the part of your mind that for free, without any product, can do a whole bunch.
Right.
And then the medicine or the skincare that we have, or the nerve tonic, is the actual molecular building blocks to do the healing work. And you put them together, it's almost like one is the scalpel and one's the surgeon. And it's the sacred ritual. It's the mutually amplifying. So you can put skincare on your body and do no intention with it, and it will do so much, right? And the more clean and complementary those ingredients are, it will do more.
Right.
So we took that as far as we could, right? As much as beautiful ingredients can do for skincare without any sort of intention around it, right? And then there's this whole other thing of the sacred rituals that go with it, that if you are loving on yourself and believing that you deserve to be glowing from the inside out, then your energy system can use the building blocks from the skincare, and together they can take you as far as
right.
Your healthy cells can go.
Yeah.
And then you do that same with the nerve tonic. You do it same with the sleep.
So we've got morning and night covered.
Let's keep going. Bath is really important. And
well,
shower.
I think it's these moments without rigidity, that there are moments throughout the day that one could create. Again, you don't have to ascribe to like a set, something to follow, but like how would you encourage someone to find, would it be 3 other times a day to have a reminder, an affirmation, something that makes it sacred, a moment?
All the guidance I've channeled for hundreds of clients always brings it down to at least 5 times a day. 5 times a day is really potent. It kind of gets to 70 to 80% of your sacred ritual needs. If you can do 5 times a day, you're hitting the majority of what you need to be in top form in terms of what intentionality can do for your health and happiness. And when you go beyond that, you're kind of closing the gap on that 80% to 90%, right? And so I always encourage the 5. And then what's interesting is, I went and did the research on like how many religions and cultures look to 5 daily rituals. And so many, like the Muslim culture is doing salat 5 times a day. They're doing it with nature's rhythms. Indigenous cultures are doing this. This is happening, in lots of different forms, because we're not the only ones to figure out what works. Anyone really looking for what works finds it. And often it's very similar, and it's these 5 times a day. So the morning and the night are important for the reasons we've talked about, because how your nervous system comes into the day is going to affect your entire day. How you take yourself into sleep is going to affect your entire sleep. The other one that's really powerful and I really advocate for is in the shower or the bath. Because in neuroscience, if you're stimulating at least 3 senses in a big way, you are going to a different part of your brain that is very present and very receptive to very healthy notions and ways of being. So if you're in the shower, your whole skin is being touched by water. The amount of literally physical touch on your skin is unprecedented to other opportunities through the day, except for our incredible 12 orgasms we're talking about, which is another reason to support good sex, is all that physical and, stimulation, sight, smell, sound, touch.
Light a candle, put on some music. And I like that because it's shower or bath, it's really day or night.
Right.
Right? It could be 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. before you're on your way to work, but it could also be 6 p.m. as you're, transitioning into the later part of your evening.
Right. And if you're smelling the scent in the shower and it happens to be a very high frequency scent like we've chosen with the rose and jasmine, if it's something where you're using a really lovely sponge or a really beautiful feeling sugar scrub or an oil, like that actually has a luxury feeling to the skin, all of this is actually taking us into the higher parts of our brain, which prepares us to be responsive and resilient in the world rather than reactionary. And, we're being in an expansive state, which is great for the nervous system rather than a constricted state. So I feel like the scent, touch, the sound of the water, even like the little, like when you move in the bathtub, can you actually hear that sound in your mind of like what it feels like to move in like that dripping and water flow? Like that's really calming to the nervous system. So when you actually bring in a sacred ritual of listening to a guided meditation while you're doing that, like bath meditation, it's really powerful. Your brain and your nervous system is more welcoming to the nourishment and reset it's offering than any other time of the day. So I think those 3 are huge from a neuroscience and the receptivity of your system and the results being so life-changing. So now we have 2 more. So for me, I enjoy making a sacred ritual that has to do with a transition from the workday to the evening. A lot of people will smoke a joint or have a drink, or you could do a guided meditation and like you could go for a walk.
I think too, like, I want to just advocate for It can literally be 2 minutes.
I agree.
Sitting in your car. Like
I agree.
I have part of my life where I have lots of time to add in as many 10-minute meditations and rituals, and other parts of my life that feel much more condensed in time.
Yep.
And I always advocate, first of all, it's the same time it would take you to scroll on Instagram or look through Facebook and check your messages or go on the field, check out who's available, is to check in with you first.
Sure.
But also it can be a 2-minute. It can literally be.
It really can be.
I'm stopped at a stoplight. I'm pulled into my garage. I'm about to go and greet my family. And before I do that, I'm just going to take a moment.
Yeah. It
doesn't need to be. I just feel like there can be a little bit of a feeling of like, I can't add one more thing. I can't, I'm not going to be able to create all these rituals.
Yep.
And it really is a moment.
Yep, I agree.
And it's a moment to shift your intention, shift your attention, and go inward for a moment.
Sure. One that I really enjoy is the transition between, in my own state and my 5 a.m. state and going into the day where the world needs me. I like to take my morning shake and my morning nerve tonic then, because I'm basically saying, okay, I've reset my nervous system myself by my morning meditation, and now I'm with me. And now I'm going to give my body the supplemental support it needs to take what I've just done in my intentions and keep it while I go face the world. And the supplements in that nerve tonic are exactly that kind of preparation. They support my nervous system and my hormones and my microbiome and everything to stay in that state while I go through the day.
Right. So. And the making of it, right? So just like when you're making a tea at night and it's a ritual, that's also another cue that you're winding down. The making of your nerve tonic, if it's just adding water or it's, like you said, I like to take the supplement or make my smoothie. There is something right there. You've created a ritual in the creation, in the making of something.
Yes.
So it can be your morning coffee is probably a ritual.
Sure.
Taking your morning tonic. It's very simple, but you're using, right? You're literally using your hands and creating something and like stirring in the water. You could take a moment even in that while you stir in the water to set an intention for the next part of your day.
Hence, I am going to propose, because we haven't done this yet, for the nerve tonic, when we create the sacred ritual for it, what about the idea of creating like a 2-minute guided journey of intention setting? Because you're basically saying these building blocks are going in to lock in the regulation of my nervous system before the world tries to rock it. And while I'm still in control of my day, I want to set the intentions. And we could do a guided meditation where there's some that we've learned from our work and practice that really work for everyone always. And then we could leave some space for people to fill in their own at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that would be a nice way to make sure that you don't just do it and slop it down while you're thinking about your 10 things to do, right? Like if we could just say, oh, in these 2 minutes, this is going to be really powerful to lock in what you have just cultivated.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can be, I think also what you said earlier about the senses, right? So I'm stirring, I'm adding in, I'm listening, I'm
tasting.
finding something to connect with that's nature, whether that's a sunrise, a plant in my apartment, my animal, right? Something that's going to connect me visually, listening, stimulating all those senses at the same time.
This is literally the best of neuroscience, our coaching experience, our own regulation of our own nervous system. So I love the intention with your nerve tonic. Sacred ritual for the morning feels really, really beautiful. We have our sleep tonic for going to sleep. We have lots of bath, sacred ritual support. And then we need one more.
I mean, I think that mid-afternoon.
Say more about this, because I agree.
Yeah, just like I think when you reach for the 3:00 coffee, or there is again a little, as the time shifts, the sun changes, the energy of the day shifts. I would often go at 3:00, be like, okay, the second part of my day starts now, because I'd have been working all day and now I go into mom, and often till 10 or 11 at night, and so the choice to make an energy shift can be to drink a coffee or,
Have a drink.
I don't know that many of us are drinking at 3:00 before we pick up our kids, but
sure.
it's just something.
Actually, my clients do have kids, and they say they finish their workday and they make a drink to transition into like having dinner with their families and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're like, the end of day means have a drink.
Yes.
So I've worked with a lot of people on that. Fair. And
I was thinking more like the 3:00, but maybe that's the 5:00 drink.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this client is maybe drinking at 3. Maybe. Right. Plenty. But I feel like there's a transition needed. You want to turn off your brain. And I think a lot of people have nothing left, so they just go to TV.
Right.
And they go to this default where I'll let something consume so I don't have to do.
Yeah.
But what if you were consuming something that was resetting your nervous system rather than just zoning out?
I mean, there was a time when I was not drinking and making that transition from drinking every day, having a glass of wine, to not, where I would do a 10-minute breath work at the end of the day just to reset my nervous system, completely, drop out of whatever energy I was in and shift that energy. So having something.
So I haven't talked to you about this, but it's been around me everywhere. Signs are everywhere. I really want to work with you to create a Sofanya tea. And maybe it's a rose and jasmine tea. Like jasmine tea is delicious and rose tea is delicious. So imagine a rose and jasmine tea that actually isn't stimulating in a caffeine way because there's none that in it, but they're both stimulating as a essence, like as a flower essence. And what if our transitioning from work to nighttime or evening had a tea ceremony?
I mean, I think we can create, tea ceremony. It's beautiful.
And it could be like, that's the senses all over again, right? And it could just be like listening to another short invitation to let go of what's happened today and think about the beautiful things and people, and including yourself, that you're about to really connect with beyond the work requirements. And can you make a list of all the things you want to let go of and put on your to-do list for tomorrow and leave them behind so you can go and be with your kids, so you can enjoy the concert. And if you're going to watch TV and a movie, really be present and enjoy it, and not just do it because as a default of exhaustion. So I think that could be an interesting idea. Yeah, this is how we develop things over at Sofanya.
I mean, we can't forget about our sacred Sofanya intimacy oil too. We got to put that one back on the docket.
Oh, wow. Yes, and very much so.
Tea
yeah.
and intimacy oil, so that we can transition into our sacred sex rituals.
I mean, really, the intimacy oil.
Bring the best of both worlds together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, the sky's the limit. I'm glad that we have many decades to come to create all the support.
All the things.
Yes. From sunrise to sex, we have you covered.
And sleep.
Yeah. All the S's.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, this is fun, Goddess. I really look forward to creating more sacred rituals for the community, coupling them with our supportive products. Like, this is why I do this, is because if you ask me what is the biggest offering and service I can do for the world, it's helping people ritualize life. And that there's so much health benefits from that in ways that are absolutely settled science, proven, that are not integrated into the lives that we live. And I feel like that's what Sofanya was created for. I'm so glad we get to do it together.
Fun.
Yay.
Awesome. Thanks, Goddess.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the journey with us. We'd love to have you as part of the ongoing conversation. Join us on our socials at Sofanya Beauty, and join our email community at sofanyabeauty.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.